But they were delicious. And the chutney recipe.
Hello, Kelly.
Hello, Ron. How are you?
Good to see you. Where you been?
They've been keeping me busy at Twickenham.
Yeah, I talked to Mary Grace. She told me that same thing. You've been downtown.
Yes,
We have
sir.
missed you. Absolutely.
Well, I missed you too. When you gonna come back and see us?
Well, not today.
Yeah.
Soon, I hope.
Well, we miss you, but I'm glad to hear your voice.
Thank you, Kelly.
You give
Good
my
to
love to
see you.
Pat, okay?
I surely will. She's in the shower, believe it or not.
Oh, well, good. Is it a good day?
Fairly good day, yes.
Okay. Well, we're here if y'all need anything.
I'll tell her you ask about her.
Please do.
I shall. You take care.
Okay, you too.
This particular one actually had some cilantro in it. I love It's a fascinating I was thinking white face and red. So to be strong around culture environment, it's like I felt very honored to be included. What do you think? I'm barely knowing. With COVID, like I was before COVID, I had I felt like they were getting messed up the last 2 years. So weird. And for the rest of our life, that makes me you know, a whole world that exists. In the last 50 years, or at least well, I hesitate to say that. As best I understand about it. Probably bring it over there. Let's let some people try it out before I run out. That's all I'm saying. Well, that's different. That's just loud. But it's not new technology. Then you're taking somebody else's antibody. That's been around, we know what that does. There's something out there that they hope they can make.
Right, it's ugly.
Yeah, it opens.
Yeah, so good to see you. Yeah.
Who knows what's coming from?
I did as well. See, it was the whole 80s. I know, it was so fun, wasn't it?
But everybody wants to think that it is. And they like to make it sound like it. Sure. Just say, I may only be able to answer something that means. I mean, you have to see that's right. Yeah, there's not ophthalmologists in town now. Even been coming to the old emergency clinic, they're by the rock. Now it's something, but over by me in a house. She's been coming there once a week. And I don't know, a year or so ago, I think she moved up here. She did have so she's working out in the emergency clinic all the time, but now it's Dr. Dr. Gibbons. She does a lot of cataract surgery. It has to be the right thing. He would have to examine the animal and see some aren't good candidates for surgery, depending on why they have the cataracts, or if they have any other issues. But it can be beneficial, especially if it's like a younger dog. They're older, even if it's some of their health problems. It's about $2,000 a night. And she's I know she has cataracts or. Yep, she's got the other one. Now we've got the rest of them working.
Skip the meeting. We already have.
And she's.
Yeah.
I've always said her name. For a referral to Dr. Gibbons, just have her evaluated to see. You know, in surgery, it's very, you know, if she did it for if that's, how much. Put on all that.
Yeah. I mean, it's what the recovery is not too bad, but just my drugs and things like that, so as long as you still tolerate. But Dr. Does not have probably the best bedside manner from what I've heard. So she's a very good doctor. We're lucky it's not very bad. They got to give it some time or something. So it's just something to know, but she's good at what she does. She's just not always. I guess it's pretty hard for some people for her to be very direct. Good to see Yeah, I definitely could be the two more nervous. As they start to lose senses of their anxiety, a lot of times we'll have to break time.
Bad, bad.
And then does a lot of times that so yeah. I'm not a because they won't tell you they just with us. Some of them will still jump on the furniture.
Somebody just want to hear the speaker. I'll say the speaker.
Oh, I like that Kelvin.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times you don't know until somebody does something or looking at a different environment.
Just waiting that extra minute.
Like I had a terrible cat and sitting with owner give it to the owner and be around it. Like you just gotta go and
Everybody, welcome to the Rotary Club of Greater Huntsville. Awesome to see a great room of people in here and on Zoom as well. We've got a great speaker today and some new faces in here today, so it's awesome to see you. Bill's gonna kick us off with a song.
Thank you, Chris. This is a one-hit wonder for guys that even like it. I think it's the way it is anyway, but this is my request today. I've got a magic love for you. First time we met, I love for you. First time we met, I knew.
Thank you, Bill. Who requested that song? Don't you, Tom? Terry, all right, Harry, that's good. Hey, we take requests anytime. All right. Leading us today in the pledge, Mr. Larry Creech. Larry?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, it's you, Bill. Should have known that, shouldn't
Okay, let's bow with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we're thankful for this day. We're thankful for Rotary, our motto, service above self. We're thankful for Rotary clubs everywhere, service to humanity. Help us to continue that and always have a soft place in our heart for our fellow man. Please watch over the Ukrainians, our brothers and sisters there in this terrible situation that's going on. We pray that we live in a free country here. We hope to remain to keep it free. We pray for our men and women who guard our freedom each day. Pray for all of our first responders, all of our medical people, that you would continue to bless them as they provide medical care for people that need it. Thank you for all that you provide for us and give us a good day. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, go ahead and finish eating. We'll start in a couple minutes. Thank you.
2 days. I'm back 2 days. Or at least everybody's back.
They're having a blast. They're doing so well. You know, I realized the other day too, talking about he got in trouble. And I realized, man, I've been punished for leaving all over there. So I can't remember. Like we had a freshman stuff. It's pretty.
He was there. We started.
How things going for
We're paid.
you? How much longer?
They went in and cleaned out some folks first. So it definitely could have been worse. This week was all cats. I thought see Tom, no, I thought she did her eyes, so I don't want to move her much, so that's not real. She's like, yeah. I'll take it around. I mean, I should have known. Just didn't expect it to be like.
Must be cool just to turn around and upcharge the government for this extra salary. That's incredible. Well, that's what it's coming to. It's not like they're up.
Or depending on what it's pressing on, it might not be it.
Our internal hold times, internal divisions, things done, has gotten to absolutely unmanageable. And the number of people doing it have diminished. You know, people have left.
It's my hobby.
Most of the training sometimes gets on 30 minutes.
This side.
Yeah.
Joe, how are you? Two and a half weeks after knee surgery. Going right after it. Unfortunately. Heavier weights, longer, whatever. Haven't gotten my camera. Just go up and down all the floors. Deal with the funding issue and got it in the budget. The girl that is gonna go, they're the week before. She woke up with no voice and I said, you don't put it deep on. Chair. So I said, I'm 35. See you later. I probably have to get this. I did have a medial business too. But my PT said it's pretty hard to injure it after pain tolerance. I said, well, I'm young. We're full. I mean, we're busy, so post-surgery. Most of our post-surgery.
Yeah, after 9 years, so I guess it does.
I told him that because it I just wanted some band there.
So check yourself for those little buggers. Things that they hear.
All those years, I mean, taking care of Jen with all the back surgeries, actually, did a good job.
All mammalian.
Start coming back to road.
They're really not supposed to.
That thing gets kind of. Or not wanting to move around.
I've cheated me. And I've been okay. No, I've been okay. Great time.
Are you still in international?
But, exactly. So like happening, like,
Again, next time?
not that we know.
Your family goes.
It hasn't been identified yet. I wouldn't be surprised.
He was asking, or he was waiting for David to call too. I've got too much, so. I said, if you want to be an officer,
They're gonna be
talk to Jim, but I couldn't tell if he was waiting for people to offer or. Want to see what I wanted to think about.
Ray was doing I think so.
Yeah.
Jim is, but I think Ray was helping with the nomination.
But exactly. Looked at it. I never read anything.
He can say, "Not you."
Yeah, Ray's been serious.
No, but something about the last 2 times I was on the board, I didn't even know I was going to be on the board. I thought I told him no. That's an assistant, and I was like, hey, look at that.
Okay, he has him on board.
Well, I didn't get the chair.
He got nominated by body language.
I said, I don't mind talking to you about how you sharing anything I know about it. So I was like, "Okay, got chair." Fine, definitely a great job. Trying to come up with that derby. I said they're still using the same DJ's
She raised me.
My sister, yeah, it's finally got identified with it because I started bringing out like hormones. Like the
Told her, when I have heart attack, we're the first person to question. And I know it'll be me.
But she does everything. We got this, okay, got it.
It sounds like.
He has allergies in Alabama. It's caught, whatever. Yes, last time. But it was good. Yeah, I'm extremely tired still. That's what I got from that day. That was it. Or I think that's what it was. Where I identified it. She was calm. Like she was calm. Because like I was thinking signal veterans because I was literally feeling my face. And if I didn't take that, I would start getting headaches. I'll feel it like I feel it clear. Now start taking it. Just to get exactly.
I'm glad you figured it out.
Well, so they did the skin testing the first time I go to the hospital. When they're getting come back, they're like, yeah, you're not allergic to anything except for something where I'm like, be allergic to everything. So it's like, oh my God, this is something hard to figure out.
They're so busy. If I told you all the stuff they were doing, you'd never ask me questions.
Very uncommon.
Right.
I'm just don't answer. People's eyes are like,
All right, we're ready to get this show on the road today. Just share with you guys how much I enjoy this club. I went to another Rotary Club in the year past. I won't say exactly when. And it was all right, but man, I'm sitting there during this Rotary and thinking, gosh, I miss my group. This Rotary Club's nothing like ours. So you guys make this special. I appreciate you quite a bit. Larry is part of the pod this month, and he's going to come up and introduce our guests for us. Come on up, Larry.
Is this roasted?
So I'm going to ask the Rotary member to introduce their guests. And if the guests would stand and remain standing until all of the guests acknowledged, and then hold your pause till the end when all the guests are announced. So Paul Freeman has guests.
Yes, I've got 2 guests today. Jennifer Geist is the executive director at First Stop, and Harold Cannon is the facilities manager at First Stop. Stay standing.
Carol Teasbaugh has a guest.
I have one guest today. Marcy Wingo, she's a former teacher and now a community volunteer.
And Chris Kern has a guest.
I do. My wife Stacy is here today.
And we have 2 visiting Rotarians, Robert Barnes from Madison.
He's part of the club.
Dwayne Babel from Holman in Wisconsin. So let's give our guests
Awesome, thanks, Larry. And Larry's participating as part of our new and relaunched pod groups. We'll talk more about that today. Pretty excited about that. Obviously, we have a great speaker here today, Parker Griffith. Thanks for being here, Parker. Integral part of the state of Alabama and our community. Glad to have you here today. We have some good speakers lined up. We've got next week, Dave Hargrove. You guys remember him, right? Part of our club. Talk about the 5G conversion, what that means to us. So excited about that one. Current status of COVID vaccines. Dr. Neil Lamb from Hudson Alpha will be here. We also have
Anybody else here?
Even though there is a Major League Baseball strike, minor league baseball continues. So we will still have
You
the
guys
this year, and we're
online?
excited about that.
Here?
We can hear.
We can hear.
I'm not getting the sound.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
All right, and we've got a special treat in April coming. We've got a children's choir coming from a local school to sing with us. So I've heard a lot of feedback from club members that they like a little bit of entertainment in these meetings. So we're gonna do a little bit more of that going on. You guys remember Josh Goforth as well, the storyteller, picks the banjo? We tried to get him. He won't be able to make it during my year, but we have him scheduled for Jim's year next year. So he'll be back as well, but I know we always enjoy his meetings as well. We're working on Monza Toyota manufacturing, an update there, and we are going to have an update on the World Games, which are happening in Birmingham in July of this year. So it's in July in Birmingham. That's going to be hot. We had a presentation at the district conference, and it's really exciting the different sports that they're going to have and how big this event is going to be for the state of Alabama. So we're excited about that one as well. Hey, so speaking of First Stop, you know, we had First Stop February. Paul Freeman, integral member of our club, is part of that organization and works super hard for them. And he came to me earlier this year. We usually do a coat drive or a couple things. I said, well, let's just make a month-long event. So we made it First Stop February, and I think we did pretty good. And Jennifer Geis, the executive director, is here today and wanted to say a couple words to y'all. Come on up, Jennifer.
Yeah, and what a huge blessing this was. So I so want to say thank you to Paul for bringing this suggestion to you, and this really is a tremendous donation for us. One of the things that was important for some of what you see here is we're really expanding our efforts in terms of outreach. We have professional staff, case managers. We're partnering with Wellstone to have mental health professionals and medical professionals going out into the camps and streets. And so a lot of these donations were used for that purpose for our homeless community that's living in the camps. So thank you for all of you who donated and just for your continued support and prayers of First Stop. And so it's a pleasure to be here. So thank you.
We appreciate all you do for our community. This is a growing issue across the nation. I'm from the West Coast originally, San Diego. We know what's going on out there. And in the way that you guys support and help that group not just be okay being homeless, but to get out of homelessness. We really appreciate that. So thanks for all you do. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it. All right, Uganda, Roger, do you want to come up? You better. You asked me to put some pictures up there. So we got an update on Uganda. We also had a great meeting this week. Billy is running our global grant for us right now. We had a great meeting with Rotary International Global Grant Coordinator. The project's continuing to move forward nicely. So Billy, thank you for that effort. And Roger, give us an update.
Yeah, regardless of what Rotary does, the staff of Sam Awori School is up and running. We had 2 years of on and off because of the virus. But now things have gone to the point where there's probably one person a day, maybe in Uganda, dies of the virus. So it's kind of beyond things. So I wanted to show you here, in primary 1 class, this is not it. In primary 1 class, there's 54 kids. So we've got two teachers. What I wanted to show you was, it's hard to find anybody that's frowning. I've noticed that every picture the deputy director sent us, the girls in the class and the boys in the class, I don't know why they can't take them all together, but for whatever reason, but every one of the little girls particularly were just raw. Some of these pictures I had to lighten up, and as you start lightening up, all you see is bright teeth. So it was a joy. So I'll be there in April If anybody wants to send something like a letter or something, I'll be leaving here April 21st.
Roger, for all your efforts on that. The club does send one club member every year to Uganda on behalf of the club, so we're looking at that for this year. I think it'll be later in the fall. Roger, is that correct? And then also, there's been a number of you that have asked for, hey, we'll pay for ourselves and we'd love to go. So we're coordinating that with Roger as well, to help those folks go and understand how to get there, do all the fun stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and remember, it's a lot safer there than it is here. Because nobody can afford a bullet there. The only thing they can afford is a machete, and I can run faster than a machete. They're safe there.
I tell you, he's talking about the smiles on their faces. I bet if you took a picture of my kids going to school in the morning, they would not have smiles like that on their face, I guarantee you. So that's really cool to see. Ramp build this week. I'm gonna have Cliff come up with some changes.
Yeah, it gives me great pain, because, you know, I was 30 years in the military, the Army, led a bunch of troops all over the world, and the whole 9 yards. Never have I ever said I'm canceling something. But now I am aged, and with this age, and oh, by the way, when it starts getting cold and the wind starts going, you know, my body now tells me things that I shouldn't be doing. And one of them is getting outside when it's 24 to 34 degrees weather on Saturday. So we're canceling our ramp build that is going to happen. What's going to happen this week? I sent a survey to all those folks that have signed. There's 17 of you that have signed up so far. And asked, the 19th is better or the 26th? And then I'll send a new out to everybody and we'll get a new date put out there and all that. However, the pre-build is still going to go on tonight. Everybody needs to show 5 o'clock to 7, and then I'll get you out of there as soon as we possibly can, and you'll be gone. And we'll have all the things built for this 43-foot ramp. It's basically 8 sections that we're going to be putting together. So I need the help tonight, because we're not only going to do that, but we're also going to take a lot of the stockage level that has been taken last weekend out. We're going to fill that in. So 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 2 hours down there at the Casa Warehouse. You see the address right up there. It's just off of Oakwood on Gray Street. Please come down, but don't show up for Friday for the delivery, and don't show up for the building at that address, because we're not going to be there. However, I'm going to be going out to several people, because Roger reminded me that we are still have to put a vinyl flooring into the Heels clinic. And so we're looking at this Saturday, since it's cold outside. And Cliff does understand that there's heat inside a building, so we'll go ahead and we're gonna put the flooring in there. So I'll be calling out to folks, if you can help, come over there. We're gonna we'll start around 8 o'clock in the morning, but I'll get a message out to everybody. Please, if you can, come over, spend 2 hours with me, putting the floor in. You can only spend, 4 hours. Oh, you can spend 6 hours with me. Okay, come on down this Saturday. We're gonna change the life of Heels, because that is a great program, and we as Rotarians support that. So I'll make sure that tonight, at the warehouse, do the pre-build. Thanks.
Pete, good to see you back too. I know you're participating in all this after your ski trip, huh? You're a stronger man than I am, though, skiing after that surgery. Kentucky Derby Day. Come on up, Joanne.
All right. So, you know you're gonna be seeing me every week now, between now and the Derby, hoping to get more sponsorships from everybody in the room. I have great news today, and what we'll do, so it doesn't get too boring, is every week, we'll tell you some new things that we're gonna do at our event. So today, what I would like to tell everybody is we are going to be having a contest. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Melissa Belt, who gave me lots of great ideas, and we're gonna be implementing several of them. We're gonna have a derby hat and a bow tie contest. Now, people are asking what the dress is. The dress is casual, so be comfortable. It's going to be starting in the afternoon at 5. So you can wear whatever you'd like.
Now, just because you wear a bow tie doesn't mean you have to wear a tuxedo. I mean, aren't there those guys that don't even wear shirts and wear bow ties?
This is the right.
All right, so today, start looking for awesome bow ties and amazing hats, and then you can participate in our contest. More details coming every week. And if you don't mind, let's give a big shout out, thank you to our sponsors. Keep going. And see me if you want to sponsor, keep going. And here we go, our Triple Crown sponsors, Redstone, of course, and myself. And Chris, Kurt, and Melody have just joined up to be Winner Circle sponsors. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then our Mitch Julep sponsors, there may be a couple more, and I'm going to work on this slide. We're a work in progress. So thank you. And if you're interested in sponsoring, come see me or drop me a quick email, and Gray will be happy to invoice you. Thank you very much.
Awesome, thank you, Joanne. We're having a fantastic year in fundraising. I think we've already told you guys $26,000 on our first fundraiser. We're shooting for that again on this one. Yes.
Oh, one more point. As of today, with these recent sponsorships, we're at even. So everything you donate now goes directly to the foundation.
Awesome, fantastic.
I take credit cards.
Yeah, sure takes credit card. Well, it's neat to see right now too, our foundation is going through the grant approval process, right? We've received, I think, about 12 to 16 applications for grant funds from our foundation. And they're going through a very detailed process on how to divvy out those funds. So it's exciting to see all the hard work that we put into the fundraising actually go right back into the community and make a huge difference. And we're gonna have even more funds for next year to be able to do that. So that's awesome. Pods are back. I'm really excited about that. You know, the pods are essential for us to run these meetings without being too burdensome on a few individuals. And it really increases fellowship and engagement between the members. So I'm really excited that we can bring that back. I want to thank Paul for working hard on that. You all should have received an email from me last night with the details of that and with all the documents that talk about that. Why did we put him up there? Oh, I just see Reed in my face. That's all I see is Reed right there. So, hey, Reed. Threw me off a little bit. I was here talking away. All I see is Reed in my face. We're just gonna go through the pods real quick. Now, I sent this to you last night, so you have this list. What we need now is the folks that are in these pods, someone to step up and be a leader of that pod for the month, and they will coordinate the activities and film the assignments with the rest of the folks in that pod. So you can see, and this is how it's going to start for next year, and it'll carry into where we are for this year. But our July group there, July and August, September and October. I'll take the pod leader for October. I can do that. We got November and December there, January and February. I think Paul did a great job of mixing folks up here. Maybe folks that don't sit at the same table all the time, adding new members in there with seasoned members. So that's fantastic. Paul has obviously taken leadership for this month. Donnie has taken leadership for next month. Will, you got yours?
No, I just wanted to say that.
You're raising your hand, leader for your month.
I'm just to say the pod leader, everybody should know the pod leader is no longer responsible for the speakers in that month.
That's correct. That's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. We put that in the email. We've taken the speaker assignment at the board level. So the pod leader is just coordinating each of the week's meetings, and you don't have to worry about filling it necessarily. If you want to participate and bring in some speaker ideas, we're happy for that, but we don't want to put that burden on the pod leader. So thank you, Will. Very good point. And you were taking leader for your month, you said, just?
I don't know if I'm worthy.
Okay. Melissa Belt has taken leadership for her month. Donnie's got his, and Paul has his, and I have mine. So we're off to a great start there, but I just wanted to share this as an exciting thing for us to get back to. Obviously with COVID and everything going on, we got away from this a little bit, but this is a very integral part of our club, and I'm excited to get back to it. All right, with that, you guys, yes, any other announcements, please?
There's a lot of stuff, so.
This is a brag and a request. You know that we are supporting the first robotics at Jemison High School. Jim Tebebach and Jim French are en route to Anderson, South Carolina for one of the first competitions for robotics first. They got it built, finished up last night, it rolls, and it can lift itself up. And so that's really good. We were sweating it. So keep them in mind, and we hope for a win, but hope for them to be safe and have fun. Thank you.
Carol, thank you for not letting me forget that, because that's huge. We've been planning on this trip, I think, for 2 years, and COVID messed that up. And this is a huge opportunity for these kids that most of them have never been out of Huntsville, and they get to travel. And so also know that our foundation has a relationship with the robotics club. So if you wanted to fund or directly support the robotics club, it will go through the 501c3, will be tax deductible, and you can allocate resources directly to that group. I know Jim and Mooney and a number of other people support that effort. So Carol, thanks for bringing that up. That's gonna be awesome. We're excited to see how they do. Sure, as long as they're safe and have fun, that's what we care about right now. So thank you. Any other announcements or brags? Still looking at Reed. Reed, you got anything? I'll be out next week, but Jim TV Paul is gonna be back and running the meeting next week. So excited about that. And with that, Wayman Burke is gonna come up and introduce our speaker today. Come on up, Wayman.
Greetings again. I think this is the 4th time you guys have fed me here in the past 3 or 4 months, and I just work down the street. I just appreciate it. Thinking about what to say about Parker, it's sort of difficult because he's going to tell you about his life. I think of the meal of the film Bill and Ted's Great Adventure, because he's had quite a bit of an adventure in his life. And I first met Parker a little less than 20 years ago. I always knew who he was, but I never knew him. We were on the Special Markets Center board together, and we became fast friends, and I consider him, I've never had a best friend. I've always had, 5 or 6 people who are my closest friends, and he's certainly one of those people. And because I know all the good things he does that he never takes credit for, and I don't think that he wants any credit for. And he has done a lot of great things for some kids in need. I know at Calhoun, we greatly appreciate that. But I did want to say it's good to see Joe here, since Joe has never shown up to see me speak at this club. I hear I may be speaking in May, so I expect some attendance here. So anyway, Parker's Great Adventure.
Well, it's great to be here. It's I'm a Rotarian. I was a Rotarian early on, and then I got dismissed for not attending, and then re-upped, and because they said they didn't take roll, so I'm back. So I'm back in. President Chris, Master Sergeant, well, thank you for having me. And thank the Rotarians. Sometimes we forget the stories that we can tell. I grew up in Baton Rouge. 2 young men were 3 or 4 years older than I was. One was we had 2 major high schools at the time. One of the young men could run the 100-yard dash in about 10 seconds, maybe a little less. His opponent at the other high school could do the same. They were neck and neck all through high school. In their senior year of high school, they were all state in track. One went on to glory in LSU football. The other went to an iron lung. It was my friend. It's an emotional story to tell because it's still fresh. But anyway, Richard got polio, and he was as gifted as the other gentleman. They both went out to LSU. They were both heroes on the campus. One was a Heisman Trophy winner, and one was a hero because you could hear him coming with his big braces, and went on to be a CPA. And then, of course, our famous Heisman Trophy winner from LSU, and I'll think of his name in a minute because he went to the other high school. But that's a story, and the story is because the Rotarians have virtually wiped out polio in the world. and deserve a great, great deal of credit. And the only reason it's not wiped out in the world is because of ignorance or bad politics in certain countries. I say that to make sure that Rotarians understand how important you are. I grew up in Baton Rouge. My father was a gifted individual, only finished the 8th grade, was orphaned, the church put him with a pharmacist, a little drugstore in a little bitty country town. So he grew up above the drugstore, cleaning it up, et cetera, et cetera. In 1935, the gentleman that he was put with reminded him that you could take an exam in New Orleans, and if you passed it, you could be a pharmacist. It was like law. You could read for the pharmacy or read for the law. So he got on a train in Shreveport, went to Baton Rouge, went to New Orleans, took the test, passed it. I grew up in a little drugstore. My mother and dad worked side by side. It's a little store. I looked at that clock. He opened that store 7 days a week. They closed early on Sundays at 7 p.m. He ordinarily was open till 10 every day. And so I grew up in a working family and with gifted parents, and I saw them work every day. And so fast forward, I went out to school and went to medical school, went to LSU Med, came through Med, did a couple of years of surgery. Then I went over to the University of Texas to do my cancer training. How I got to Huntsville, total fluke. I'm at the MD Anderson Hospital. I'm with a mentor who's teaching me how to do radioactive gold grain implants into head and neck cancers. We're in the operating room. He looks across at me and he says, "Griffith, you're a short timer. You're finishing this year. Where are you going?" I said, "I don't know. I've got an opportunity at Emory, Jackson, Mississippi, University of Mississippi, and I'm going to be visiting those." He said, "Well, I'm flying out tomorrow as an expert witness in a malpractice case. It's in Huntsville, Alabama." I never heard of Huntsville, Alabama, but it was on the front of my National Geographic with this big rocket coming up. Okay. So I looked it up and he said, "Yeah." He said, "There's a guy there who's using an old cobalt machine and burned a hole in the esophagus of a lady, and her husband was on the board of Huntsville Hospital." This was, I knew none of this. He said, "If anybody needs a board eligible, board certified radiation oncologist, that place does." And so we didn't say anything else. We got through the case, got it done. And about 3 weeks later, I got a telephone call in my home. I was home. We had a wall phone, picked it up. So, anyway, my youngest child was in the high chair throwing food on the floor. And I said, "Yeah, is this Dr. Griffith?" "Yes. We're looking for a radiation oncologist. We want somebody to come to Huntsville." I said, "I am not interested." I thought he was talking about Huntsville, Texas, which is a big prison town. That's where all the prisons are. We got that straightened out. I agreed to come visit here. Came through here. I'm not a regular doctor. I needed more than a stethoscope and a tongue blade and a light. I needed about close to $3 million worth of equipment at the time. I was going to put in linear accelerators. I needed a medical physicist. I needed computers, backups. I needed trained radiation therapy techs. And so I left that list and I got a call from the administrator. And of course, I've been in medicine for a while, so I knew not to trust the hospital administrator. And I said, "Did you send me the invoice for all of that that you've ordered? And I'll come back and talk." Well, I came back into this town and one of the real prominent attorneys had taken the case against the hospital. And there was another prominent attorney who was the defense. And it literally, I didn't know it at the time, but it was the community was like this. It was also a very traditional community in Madison, and when I sat with the board, the hospital board, there were two surgeons on the hospital board, and I'm there, and anyway, I'm telling them how important the treatment of the cancer patient is, and early diagnosis, and going through my spiel. And both of them turned to the others and said, I don't know why we want to spend this kind of money. They all die anyway. Oh, boy. That's when I made all the friends I needed to make on that board. So I started here. We worked through all of that. Yeah, and fortunately, these people are deceased. And but I have forgotten the bastard someday. The deal is, we came, and because this is a very progressive community, so many of us are not from here. So many of us came here on a cold call. For me, it was 40 years ago. We've come a long way. I was the first board certified radiation oncologist in Alabama. There was one other gentleman who was board certified, and he went to Nashville. There were very few of us in the Southeast. We have since understood that early diagnosis and treatment is changing the face of cancer, et cetera. So that's how I got here. 12 grandchildren and 5 children later. And I'm retired. I retired and have gotten into some other ventures. So I've always been behind the scenes in politics because cancer is a political disease. We made some decisions early on in cancer that were incorrect. And we got on the path, and we got off of that path recently, 10 years ago, but we were on a path of trying to develop the best poisons possible. And now we're on a path of absolutely subatomic particles in the cell, and we're now attacking cancer where it starts, and we're turning those genes off. And we're in a town of Hudson Alpha is doing a wonderful job, and there are other facilities all over the world doing that. The philosopher 300 years before Christ was born said, those of you who are too busy to be in politics or are not interested in politics are destined to be ruled by your inferiors. We can certainly attest to that. So anyway, I'd always been behind the scenes in politics with Hal Heflin running Flippo, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I was coming back I'd been elected to the state senate, and I was coming back from Montgomery. And I was looking at this truck in front of me. It was anyway, I jammed on the brakes. About the time I jammed on the brakes, the phone rang in my truck, and it was Bud Kramer. I'm not running again. I said, oh my God, have you been to the doctor? I said, if somebody told you something, no, I'm tired. I'm just not going to run again. And we want you to consider that. And so I left the state senate and I ran for Congress. Brutal race. You got to have the brain of an alligator and the same skin if you're going to get into politics. But I was retired, and my family was supportive until they found out how much money it cost. And but anyway, this is a picture of my brother, Tom. I recruited him here. He's a retired urologist. That's me. We're sitting at Casamentos in New Orleans. Been there, it's a little bitty place, all tile. My wife and I at the mantle, and I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm sure. The LSU, University of Texas, MD Anderson, Charity Hospital, New Orleans. Charity Hospital is one of those 2,000 bed hospitals, and it's one of the 3 training centers where the whoever is right above you trains you. There's no academic staff in the hospital. It's wide open. It's Wild West medicine. I was in a MASH unit. During the late 60s, they flew us all out to West Coast. We were on the way to Vietnam and politics got in there, but I helped in the Presidio Hospital, taking care of our young men and women coming back to Vietnam. So, and there, believe it or not, that's me. Huntsville Hospital started our first, put our first linear accelerator in, first simulator in, brought a medical physicist here who trained in Hammersmith in London. He was incredibly gifted. He passed away here. And I've been fortunate enough to form a foundation and invest in the community. These are pictures that Wayman helped me put this together, so it's a little self-serving. Of course, I'm a politician. And that's the State House. And the reason that picture's in there is because Alabama has had an interesting history of politics. It's been brutal. We are an oasis, North Alabama, Madison County, Morgan, Limestone, Marshall, Jackson. We were an oasis in Alabama for a lot of reasons. And we've suffered through some really, really terrible leadership and some really mean-spirited leadership. And on those steps right there is where Martin Luther King and John Lewis challenged George Wallace. And we started our civil rights movement, began to complete it with civil voting rights, etc. And when you're in politics, you never know when they're going to stick a microphone in front of your face. And so I've made the mistake of talking into a live mic. And that was one of those. I'm looking at that. So anyway. This is in the state Senate. You can kind of look closely at this. This is your friend up here in Jackson. This is Bishop Lowell Barron's over there getting hit in the head. This is me. This is Hinton Mitchell. He's deceased. This is part of Tom Butler's head. But Bishop got up, went over to my colleagues, crowded him into his chair where he couldn't get up, and hit him in the head. There's another picture where I got Bishop around the shoulders like this, whispered in his ear, "I'm not going to let you go if you hit me." So anyway, the story was that Lowell Barron said something about his mother. And, I don't know whether she makes great cookies. I don't know. So these are the steps coming out of the house. I don't know whether you remember this, but 10 years ago, 12 years ago, there was a cult that started and took America by storm. It's called the Tea Party. And they would wait for us out here at the bottom of these steps. And they'd be dressed up in their little hats, and they were screaming at you about, the world's gonna end if you don't do this, that, and the other. And then you'd have some of their antagonists, Jesse Jackson and some others would be on the other side screaming at them, and they would scream back and forth. Just have a very good time. So, and this is something that I think is worth. This is a kind of a sarcastic slide, but there wasn't a day I wasn't in Congress that someone would come in my office, $800 shoes and $2,000 suits on, and they were lobbyists, and they were working for Blue Cross Blue Shield, Raytheon, you name it, Fox, that blew out. And that's who runs DC. And if you want to know why we have such a low opinion of Congress, is that we don't believe them anymore. And we don't know that we're important anymore, but we don't have the kind of money that can buy that influence. We hope over a period of the next 10 or 20 years, we'll change the gerrymandering that's going on. Where the party in power draws the district lines, and we've got politicians that now select the voter instead of the voter selecting. And that's going to be a problem. Here I am. This is your life as a politician. You go from being Dr. Griffith to just a regular old suck up. Here I am. throwing candy out of the back of a convertible in Tuscaloosa at parade, meeting with some construction workers. And this lady right here this slide's in here because this lady obviously knows politicians very well. She's not believing the word I'm saying. This is Gene Tackett from Florence. He's my driver. He's my conscience. He's with me everywhere I go. Anyway, Gene lives over in Florence. He's a retired IBEW guy. Essential for me to. Now this slide right here, very few people saw this slide. They called me and said, there's a guy by the name of Obama coming to Huntsville. And you're the state senator for this district. We want you here to welcome him. We had brought him here to talk to the kids out at A&M. Okay? Nobody knew him. We didn't know he was going to run. So there was an old heritage club downtown. Some of you may remember that. But anyway, we had a little room there. So I came in and Obama worked the room, introduced himself to everybody. And somebody took this picture. And he's got his hand on my shoulder, shaking hands. He's got a hand there. If that picture had come out while I was running for Congress, I would have never won. Never. I mean, politics. Now, here's the rest of the story. He goes to the presidency. I wind up in Congress. We're called, a group of us are called, it's the defense group, we're called to the White House to meet with Obama. It's in the Lincoln room. Okay, we're in the Lincoln room. We're U-shaped table. There's about 15, 20 of us sitting there. Obama's not there. But we hear the helicopter coming in, and he walks around the table, sits down, and he says, I got 45 minutes for you. I told my girls we're going to have supper together tonight, and I got 45 minutes for you. I'm getting ready to get on the elevator upstairs. Supper with my girls. He goes around and introduces himself. Comes around the side of the table where I am. Dr. Griffith, funny you should be here. It's funny I'm here. He remembered me from Huntsville. So anyway, there's Maynard. Look, this guy. That's Maynard. The only thing missing here, he doesn't have a glass of wine in his hand and a cigarette. But he's a wonderful guy. He is salt of the earth guy. And so he came here on my behalf. And he said, you can tell him anything you want to tell him about me in Huntsville, but I don't like the space program. Well, I said, sure as hell not telling him that. That's not something I'm going to tell him. So, anyway, and Pelosi and I didn't get along. But let me tell you, mistake people make about Pelosi, because they don't like her, they think she's not smart. She's whip smart. And she is a consummate politician. She, I don't know if you noticed this, but Pelosi's still Speaker of the House and Trump's at Mar-a-Lago. Guess who won that? Okay, she is whip smart. And if you see her with her grandchildren, She is a grandmother. You cross her, I cross her on the Affordable Care Act. And it's you against the world, you lose. You against Pelosi. It's tough. The night the Affordable Care Act went to the floor for a vote, and we tried to keep it, I had told her in a conference, eyeball to eyeball, Madam Speaker, if you force the Affordable Care Act through the Congress, you're gonna flip the Congress from Democrat to Republican, and all these 30+ young men and women who were just elected will be defeated, will come back. I was the oldest person in this class. So they deferred to me because of the color of my hair. And that was outside of my office, and I was privileged to serve. It was and I had a real good time. I was on the Energy and Commerce. I remember the BP oil spill. I'm sitting there on Energy and Commerce, and there are so many cameras in the back, and all you can hear is click. These flashes are going on. And this poor guy who is the CEO or president of BP, Australia or English, I can't remember. He doesn't have the faintest idea what's going to happen to him. And he doesn't know anything about valves or turning them on or off. He doesn't know any of that shit. So he's up there and they are crucifying him. And Councilman Griffith, representing Alabama, do you have anything you'd like to say to him? I said, remember, you're never as good as they say you are, and you're never as bad as they say you are. My phone rang. My balls blew up. Don't say anything nice about that. If you never know. Get you on. This is something that I don't know whether you're aware of or not, but you put your card in here, your ID card. This lights up, so you can vote. Green, yes. Red, no. Counted vote is here. Pass. Don't vote. As soon as you vote, it goes right up on a big screen, and everybody knows how you vote. And you've got 5 minutes to change your vote if you're going to change it. So if you vote against somebody that is important, like Pelosi, come back to where you sit and say, did you really mean to do that? But anyway, it was, it's high pressure in a way, and there are no assigned seats there. There's no assigned seats. You can sit anywhere you want. You can get up and move around, because you go to see someone on your committee that you need their vote. You'll go lobby and sit down. Say, you know, I know you need something in Iowa, and I need something in Alabama. It's this is this, one of the lobbyists for Pratt. He brought this by. We put your picture on macaroni and cheese. I don't know if that's a compliment. It's cheap. Nobody ought to really eat that much. And this is my son, and I didn't know this picture was being taken, but we're looking straight up. We've never been to the Capitol before. Like, and my daughter's back here, my wife's over there, my other mother's over there. But anyway, I'm gonna run out of time. Yes. And this just makes you know that if you're in politics, there's no, you gotta drop fair out of your vocabulary. I'll tell you a cute story about Bentley. He's such a weenie. Bentley, I'll tell you, my best joke on Bentley is this: he's a fat, stinking secretary, went to church with him. And I said, on campaign trail once, I said, his secretary chased him around the sanctuary and grabbed him by the organ. And took that. But anyway, he would not debate me. And we knew that he was having Viagra delivered to the governor's mansion, and we knew he was carrying on with this girl. And couldn't get him. I couldn't get him. So I went around the state when I was running for governor with this big duck. The ducking debate. Useless debate anyway. Anyway, I was fortunate enough to be asked to teach civics and government to the Alabama School for Cyber Technology, which is right across the street from us here. That brand new building going up. Wonderful thing for Alabama. And some of the things I do, two of the things that you might remember was the Mill Bakery and Eatery. We started that years ago. We went to 16 restaurants around the Southeast. I did the first cares, which were knocking the boxes years ago. 1061 classic rock station, put that on the air. And we recently called 4 FMs and 2 AMs over in Florence. This is a wonderful community. American dreams come true here. And thank you for that.
Well, right on. Well, in the interest of time, let's go ahead and close out with the four-way test. That was part of the meeting I've laughed the most all year long. Speaking of politics, all the things we think, say, or do. First, second, third, and fourth. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your parents. Have a great day.
Good to see you.
Every day. Yeah.
No. Taking a break from that.
Can you hear me now? Hey, you know, if you lean back, you can fill the whole screen. Look at this. See you. How you? Okay.
My business card. Well, and I think people are, especially if you're at so everybody just, you know, I mean, they just. Oh, that's, I mean, he doesn't open that box. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
But isolation.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We were very sure. Yeah, we did. You're gonna be, so you'll be back, right?
Well, yeah.
Very similar.
Reach out to parents.
No, I have not. Yeah. You know what I mean? Basics, you want to be, going to work with science.
But eventually, you've got to quit labels.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I've been
Yeah.
the gaps.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. You be there tonight? You be there Saturday?
September, use your remaining travel money. Get people plexiglass, isolate. New homes, rent, new space and separate. That But you know, my colleague is retiring this month. He said.
That's what they used to.
I think that was really.
Yeah. But it's been appreciation. Either one doesn't matter. Only had one that says you can only do it. Six hours, but it's still pretty good. Only guy, been watching the software. I just guarantee it.
Get that all stuff for the first one. Not to go get it. But just go find it.
Yeah. Yes. He shows.
Well, on Wednesday, so it's 7 days. Get an email saying, they got 23,000 and then they say.
Oh, that's all
Can I get badges right here?
Thank you.
So I'm gonna be asking from you like Mary, with the income for governor, and it'll be late June, early July. Stay tuned. How many of the women in the club to get together and do it? I've done all of them. Very nice. Well, you look, with a little hand up there and it's purple, that's how it's.
Coach him around, party time.
Like all the things, you're racing on, start over next year. You're just like, oh, it was magic.
Absolutely. And that's what is happening. I mean, it's just.
Thank you for coming. Nice meeting you in person.
Such a crap.
It's a what grade?
Yeah, it was in 6th grade last year.
Third grade.
Yes. So here's what I get. I go to my son. Hey, you got a 0 out of 10. What's coming? What's going on? Wow, each teacher, every day, each teacher logs the child's grades and all three of my kids, they make below a certain grade, below, they get a C. I get it.
Where's it again?
Teacher asked them, I know exactly what's going on with my kids. So in the third week, third night, well, it's weird. In the third week, last year, when he was in 6th grade, right? We changed schools for that.
Well, I'm sure.
We would have been going out.
Yeah, let's keep on. I'm gonna have
We're gonna do it.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
Make a big deal
I'll be right back.
Read the robot. So otherwise, like you said, it's actually, push this thing.
Yes, it's a bucket. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, enjoy your meeting. You bet.
You're talking about the wood trip?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going, yeah. Now, you go into this building, they have full,
One by three. That's the mic.
No problem.
I'm just saying,
What are you guys gonna go do?
whatever the see the better looking town.
Same thing as he said, send him all the address and then before we go.
I think we're gonna do our picnic
Yeah.
at the building at the end of April. That'd be a good time, maybe. You gonna travel a little bit? Or just busy?
Travel time is probably.
Yeah.
You gotta have hands or something.
Grandkids, retire.
Current
And
time.
I haven't. I'm still kidding.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, it actually was kind of nice that. That's a very short time.
I mean,
You worked around with it, you know, so. Okay.
Dude, so that's my only. 9:30 to 11.
What I'm saying is.
11:30. I'm available.
Right.
Yeah, you gotta do that, Tom, you gotta crew it, just. And is there heat in the building? We don't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Well, and I think that in our back pocket, is it sounds like Diane's gonna be very supportive of us, saying
Thank you.
this is what she's gonna want to see every quarter. And so we've got to get her what she wants if we want to keep this moving forward. So it's not like us versus them. It's like, we're helping you get by the grants coordinator.
In one of his previous emails, he mentioned that since this thing has got, since the exchange rate is.
We put that in the plan too. I mean, in the report, he stated that in there.
Yeah, so the point being there is, he's already trying to set the stage, saying we need more money.
Well, there isn't any
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
I know.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
there's two things. Go back and look at the budget, line items.
We have contingency for exchange.
Now, Annette would like to use that contingency to pay it. Main thing is, also, if possible, we want a little bit of that money to reimburse ourselves for months of storage in our warehouse. We store furniture. There's also bank charges, that's part of the more buffer that's available.
But when you take something that's supposed to be done, you're in instruction for 2 years. Bank charge and everything.
We're gonna push it over. Thanks, guys.
Main thing is not us at all. We've been there, done this before.
Yep.
So do you need to remove some?
That's like.
Justin, say so.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Good meeting today, huh?
No, let's get it.
You know, Reed was telling me that I needed.
Yeah.